Good morning, my dear students. Hope you are all doing well at home. And now I remind you, the examinations are coming soon, and the timetable so far, as per the University of NTR University of Health Sciences, they are proposing to conduct the examinations as per our original schedules, even though we have lost some time because of the problem of coronavirus disease. Still, we are able to somehow manage the classes and other things, and hence they are in the opinion that we can conduct the examinations probably regularly. To that extent, 4 days ago, we have received a circular from the university that your final examinations may be conducted from 4th of September, 4/9 onwards. Your examinations may be conducted, and that is what they are expecting. The university is expecting to conduct the examinations, and hence you should read well. You should start reading from today onwards at least. Well, we were discussing a topic in the molecular biology. That is, we have completed, we are mainly discussing the main topic, central dogma, to understand. What is this central dogma? DNA, the genetic material. DNA containing the genes. Genes produces proteins. Proteins gives us various traits to the organisms, to the individuals. And this is what they said, Crick's central dogma. In the central dogma, the DNA producing an mRNA in between, and the mRNA is finally producing a protein, is the central dogma. Each step we have thoroughly understood in one class. Transcription, that is, from the DNA producing the mRNA is called as transcription. The mRNA in ribosomes producing, synthesizing proteins is translation. We have understood transcription and translation in the previous classes. So we discussed about them. Well, a gene is there, that is the genetic material of all the individuals, and that particular gene is producing a protein. We understood very well. Fine. But can this protein continuously be synthesized? Is it possible? Will it be useful to the living organism, or can it fit to the organism to survive? It's not possible. It's not possible. Suppose insulin, for example, is continuously being secreted. What will be the fate of the organism? So it cannot be continuously. So many genes are there, so many protein molecules cannot be produced. As many genes are there, so many protein molecules cannot be produced. They have to be controlled. They have to be controlled. First, the synthesis of proteins under the influence or guidance of the gene is called as gene expression. So gene is expressed, means that gene is able to produce the proper protein that is designed by that gene, and that proper protein does the function, that is a healthy function. So this gene expression has to be regulated. So all the genes cannot be expressed all the times in all the cells, in all the to the maximum possible extent, the number of genes present. So this has to be regulated. And the second thing is that we can see insulin, is again same example, is not present in all the cells. All cells cannot secrete or rather synthesize insulin. But the genetic material starting from the single cell, when the whole man has been arisen from the single two cells, the mother and fathers. That means the genetic material is the same in all the trillions of the cells which are being present in this man, And then how come certain cells are not producing, certain cells are producing? Very little is known. The total DNA content that is being there and the total sequence, what we know, out of that, only 2 to 3% of that material, DNA material, is having the genes. That means the structural genes, not genes. The structural genes which are producing the proteins. And they are mainly useful for, so far, we know, so far the knowledge we have. So they are being useful for the expression of various traits of the organism. Then, then these certain cells are specialized, something like neurons, something like endocrinal cells, something like the superficial cells which can resist the trauma, the epithelia, skin, for example. So like this, they are specialized from the single cell. That means the genetic material is expressed in different cells in different ways. And what makes this speciality is not known at all for us now today, as per today. So there is a lot to love to know about this particular science. So, but even then, only 2 to 3% what we know now, is enormous knowledge we have. And it is so large science we have. And then this insulin, then what has happened to this insulin gene in all other cells? It is completely shut off. That means it is all, the brakes are applied onto it. This is what is called as a repressed repression, breaking. So the genes are dormant or otherwise broken completely under the strong brakes. And this is what is the repression means. So all the genes are regulated. And some expressed genes in the cells, at times they have to be producing the gene product in large concentration. What is the gene product? The protein molecule. The gene product need to be produced in the larger concentration, and when the need is over, it has to be reduced to the lowest possible concentration. And this is what is called as regulation. So the gene is there, how transcription is occurring, how translation is occurring, post-translation, post-transcriptional, post-translational events, this and that, what all we all know, but how this is regulated. When it is needed, it has to be producing more. That means gene transcription should be increased, or else the gene translate, the mRNA translation must be altered. Either there or here has to be altered to produce more protein. So how is it happening? So in the 1950s and 60s, the marvelous great experiments by Jacob and Monod. Jacob and Monod, French scientists, have given us some explanations. Their experiments are all being done on the cell or the organism E. coli. And in the E. coli, they have observed certain facts which has revolutionized on this topic. What is that? Let us see. The synthesis of proteins under the influence of gene is called as gene expression. All genes of the cells are not expressed at all time. That just now we have discussed. The insulin gene is expressed only in the beta cells of pancreas, but not in other tissues. In other words, insulin gene is in the state of repression in all other cells. So insulin gene active in only beta cells, and all other cells, the gene is under repression. Some genes are expressed almost always in cells. Let us see glycolysis. What for glycolysis is used? The utilization of glucose, the metabolizing the glucose. What for? For the generation of energy. Energy is needed for all the cells. Energy is needed for all the cells, and hence that all the time needed energy. So the energy needs to fulfill the glycolysis need to be occurring. That means the enzymes of glycolysis need to be produced all the time. So the enzymes of glycolysis have to be synthesized by all the cells most of the time, maybe waxing and waning, increasing and decreasing, with some control. But all the time they have to be expressed. Such genes are called constitutive genes. Constitutive genes. Their other name is housekeeping genes. So certain protein molecules, maybe they are enzymes or something else occasionally, may have to be synthesized regularly all the times. No doubt increased and decreased, the concentrations may be varying, but they need to produce continuously. And this is what this type of expression is called as such genes are called as constitutive genes or housekeeping genes. And the same gene may be alternatively opened and shut. That's what we are saying. As per the need of the metabolism. As per the need of the metabolism. It may be increased or decreased. Such regulation is done by which one? Increasing and decreasing. But continuously it will be expressed in the cells. That is constitutive gene. Such gene regulation is done by induction or repression mechanisms. Induction is stimulatory mechanism. So if inducer is present, then the synthesis of that particular protein, the quantity will be increased. Then repressed, if that inducer is absent or some other repressed molecule is there, then the particular protein which is supposed to be generated by the gene may be reduced. And so there are two mechanisms for the constitutive genes, induction and repression. Induction is the phenomena of increased synthesis of protein or an enzyme in response to a certain signal. Such enzymes are said to be inducible. Such ones are said to be inducible. And the signals are called inducers. The signals are inducers. So now, as I said, the four great scientists, one is Severo Ohama, another one is Andre Loff, and Francois Jacob, Jacques Monod. All of them are Nobel laureates, mind you. Then these people's discoveries, rather inventions on this control of gene expression. Control of gene expression. What substances are controlled, how this protein synthesis is being controlled on certain reactions, certain influences from various outer proteins or outer signals on mRNA molecule, either in the ribosomes where the protein synthesis is occurring, or at the level of transcription level, that is DNA to mRNA molecules that are being synthesized. In all over, these scientists' contributions are commendable. And the Jacob and Monod has given us one model to understand how they can the control can be exerted. Their invention is called as Jacob and Monod's operon concept. Operon is a part of the gene expression. A part of the gene expression. How exactly it is being done, and the deciphering that particular science, what they call it as the Jacob and Monod's model of gene expression. This is mainly done on E. coli experimentations. E. coli is a bacterium. This E. coli bacterium is having capability to metabolize glucose for the general needs, regular needs. So it mainly utilizes glucose and produces energy and survives. The E. coli survives on the glucose metabolizing energy. Suppose if it is glucose is there and it can be metabolized, glycolized, and then it can produce the all the enzymes needed to break the glucose is present. But when glucose is not there and lactose is being obtained, or otherwise lactose is being present in that vicinity of that E. coli, then also it can survive by utilizing the lactose. But initially, if we see when glucose is there, the lactose metabolizing enzymes are not being expressed in this E. coli. E. coli. But when lactose is there, it is able to produce. What is that? The machinery, the enzymes needed to break down the lactose. Break down the lactose and produce energy further. So now this model, how exactly it is able to control, he has given a model, and that model is called as Lac-Operon model. Operon model. And then why this controls, regulations are needed in any animal being? Because the regulation of expression of genes is necessary. What for? One, for the growth. Second is development. And third is differentiation and very existence of the organism. Very existence of the organism. The types of gene expression can be positive regulation, negative regulation. We can already understood it. Occasionally, a double negative regulation we may come across. And such regulation, ultimately, a negative to negative ultimately is going to be a positive regulation. Well, now this bacteria, when a large DNA molecule gene is there, they're producing one large mRNA, when in reality, when we have seen that one mRNA is able to, a large mRNA is able to produce 3, 4, 5 either peptide molecules or different nearby proteins, but of different proteins. So one mRNA molecule is able to produce 2, 3, or 5 protein molecules, different protein molecules. So that means the gene is a large gene, complex large gene. And that large gene is having different zones, but continuous. That gene is continuous. Zones of different nearby proteins synthesis. Nearby proteins synthesis. But the single peptide or single protein, that particular zone, that particular area is called as a cistron. A protein expressed area is a cistron. One cistron produces one peptide bar a protein. A peptide bar protein. A large mRNA may be having more cistron, or otherwise its gene must be having more cistrons, more than one cistron. This is about prokaryotes. But in eukaryotes, usually one cistron, usually in one gene. In a large gene of prokaryotes, may be having polycistronic. But in the eukaryotes, it is monocistronic. The gene is mono and the mRNA is mono and produces a single protein or a peptide. So this is a difference between a prokaryote and a eukaryote expression. So now let us go for the model of understanding how the genes are, the gene of the prokaryotes are expressed. They said it is the Lac-Operon model. Lac-Operon. This is an operon, Lac-Operon, because this is related to lactose. It is related to lactose, and hence it is called as Lac-Operon. This lactose metabolism is under the control of certain enzymes. These are all protein molecules. And these enzymes, protein molecules, are synthesized by the E. coli genetic material. in the genetic material containing the genes. So that genes producing the proteins required for the lactose metabolism are called as structural genes. Structural genes. Well, as long as glucose is present, these structural genes, even though present in the same E. coli, are not expressed. They have discovered that they are not expressed when, as long as there is a glucose. They have the affinity to metabolize glucose in the first instance. If glucose is not available, then lactose is available, then they have the affinity to go to lactose and then producing the proteins required for the metabolization of the lactose. And how they are doing it and why they are not choosing initially. They try to make all the experiments and now they have clearly, they have revealed it in this way, what we are supposed to know, what we are learning now. And that is, they said, they observed or they invented that this lactose gene or the mRNA, gene and mRNA are having various sites, various areas. The mainly expressed protein producing area, they named it as Z, Y, and A. Z is producing a protein beta galactosidase, and the Y zone polynucleotide is producing an mRNA, or the area of mRNA is expressing a protein, and that protein is having the capability of permease function. A is acetylase, acetylation of the molecule. So Z is beta galactosidase. What is lactose? Recall back your chemistry fundamentals in the carbohydrate chemistry. It is a galactose and a glucose are being connected by a glycosidic linkage. This glycosidic linkage can be broken for digesting the lactose by the enzyme beta galactosidase. Beta galactosidase that is having the capability to break the galactose and the glucose glycosidic bond which is being present in the lactose, and that is how lactose is broken into two monosaccharides, galactose and glucose, and that can be digested further as going into the glucose pathway, that glucose. And galactose is converted into the glucose and again going into the galactose pathway. So that enzyme is synthesized when there is lactose. When E. coli is sensing lactose, then this gene gets activated. That means there is a control over that. When lactose is present only, it is out. Then they said there is a polynucleotide sequence. This is a continuous polynucleotide large sequence in this small areas. In a small area, polynucleotide area is there, and that is called as an operator sequence. Where on the left side, this is called as a downstream. This is upstream. This is starting point of this gene expression, or otherwise gene translation starting point. Rather the mRNA translation process starts from here. So now upstream, the immediate one zone is called as operator. And then above the operator, there is another zone that is called as promoter. There is another zone, promoter. All the time, we'll go for the gene level. When this structural gene, and this is an operator area, this is promoter area, the synthesis purpose, the main area is this particular area, that is the Z area. So Z gene. This is a structural gene. The synthesis of mRNA, we need RNA polymerase. So RNA polymerase is supposed to start from here producing an mRNA, downstream in all this area. So down, and then this is on the left side. On the left side, you have the operator area and the promoter area. It cannot directly identify the starting point. Which one? The RNA polymerase cannot directly identify this one. It will go first to the area designed as promoter area. The RNA polymerase mainly joins, affixes, adhere to promoter area when it starts to make a transcription process. And then from here, it will come slowly to the operator, and operator and promoter, the RNA polymerase, with the help of both of them, can be allowed to start from here to transcribe the structural genes. In a normal scenario, or else when it is needed, the RNA polymerase does the transcription in this pathway. It is doing it, imagine. So need is not there. Need is not there. Or else when lactose is not there, then immediately what will happen is this operator area is affixed or being adhered by a molecule, a large molecule, which is called as repressor molecule, which is being present there. And repressor molecule for this particular gene is there in the nearby vicinity and comes here and adheres to the operator gene, the operator site. So now this particular repressor molecules, they happen to be proteins. These repressor molecules are like something like detour, something like an obstruction or a gate for RNA polymerase, which is being adhered to the promoter. Always RNA polymerase adhere to promoter and then starts transcription, and then only it can know where exactly the gene starting point is there. The promoter and operator will tell the RNA polymerase, you start transcription from +1 of nucleotide from here. So now the RNA polymerase trying to come and trying to transcribe, but because there is an obstruction, a large obstruction, which will not allow the polymerase to move on the gene. So when lactose is not there, continuously this repressor substances, here they are proteins. The repressor protein molecules continuous will be there. How are they are produced? Again, this is a protein molecule. It must be having some small gene, and that gene is there here, which is not being depicted in this picture. And then this is called as I gene or inhibitor. This is also called as regulator. So there is R is there: regulator, promoter, operator, and structural. Always will be there. And this regulator continuously is producing a small RNA, mRNA, and that mRNA is producing this repressor proteins. These repressor proteins initially, for this glycoperon, they are produced in peptide chains, and 4 peptide chains, they produce a tetramer, and this tetramer is coming over here and adhere to the operator site always. Well, as long as the lactose is not there, this process continues. Even though RNA polymerase for these structural genes to transcribe is there, adhered to the promoter zone, but it cannot transcribe it. So there is no more forward process to these structural genes. Z gene, beta galactosidase gene, Y gene. This is permease gene. This allow the lactose if they are to enter into the this cellular universe, that is into the inner portion of the E. coli. So it is the gate opener to the lactose molecule to enter into the vicinity of the E. coli, and then acetylation of the material. That is, so 3 genes are needed, 3 proteins will be produced if lactose will be there. How? When lactose is not there, it is not able to produce these proteins. How? The mechanism we have just now understood. There is a yes, here it is given in it. So in the DNA, there is LAC-I gene is there. I is inhibitor gene is there. There is a promoter area. There is operator area. This is a Z gene. This is Y gene. The subgene rather. This is A gene. And the total is LAC operon. The whole thing is a LAC operon. LAC operon. Lactose operon. And then, as I said, this I gene is producing a small RNA, and this RNA is producing a protein peptide moieties. All 4 peptide moieties in case of LAC operon producing a tetramer, and this tetramer is having normally it will go and bind here. Normally it goes and bind here. So in normal condition, RNA polymerase cannot go forward and cannot transcribe, cannot produce mRNA, polycystonic mRNA. That is 3 proteins producing mRNA in the prokaryote. So then, when lactose is there, the scenario next, lactose is there. This lactose is now inducer. Inducer means increasing the gene product production. Increasing the gene product production. What is the gene product we are expecting? The beta galactosidase enzyme, permease enzyme, and trans-acetylase enzyme. 3 enzymes. That is 3 protein molecules. Synthesis we are expecting. What purpose? Because lactose is there. Lactose should be utilized. And for the utilization, metabolization of E. coli, it requires these 3 enzymes, these 3 proteins. So now it should produce. How it produces? First, that lactose, once it is there, is coming over here, and initially this either allolactose, a similar substance also will be doing the same function, is coming and it is producing, it is acting as an inducer, and it is joining this repressor protein. Normally, the repressor protein will be there, and then this cannot be produced. So that means always brake is there, which is applying the brake. The repressor molecule is applying the brake here, and RNA polymerase is not allowed to go forward. When these lactose are the similar to the lactose molecule, allolactose is coming, then this is having another site, allosteric site for lactose on this repressor tetramer. And once it is joined with it, then the orientation, the 3-dimensional structure of this repressor molecule along with this inducer molecule, when it is altered and now it cannot go there, it cannot bind to the operator region. That means the repressor which is there, here, the repressor which is here is not been allowed to go and join here. Why? Because of this presence of the inducer molecule, allolactose. What is happening? The repressor molecule's shape is completely altered. It is not able to fit into the group, rather the areas which can be accommodating the repressor molecule on operator site. So now operator site is open. Operator site is open. The obstruction gate is removed, and what is going to happen? RNA polymerase is going to move, and both promoter and operator tells the RNA polymerase, engages the RNA polymerase from the number one nucleotide, which is being present in the LAC-Z gene, and then slowly is being transcribed into mRNA. Okay, so this is a polycystonic mRNA. This is having zones of mRNA which can be translated into beta-galactosidase, permease, and transcystylase. 3 proteins are synthesized from one large polycystonic mRNA produced from the LAC gene, LAC-Z gene, LAC-Y gene, LAC-A gene. And it is made possible because the presence of the lactose itself or allolactose, which will be binding the repressor protein molecules which are being continuously applying brake on RNA polymerase not to transcribe. Brakes are removed, RNA polymerase is transcribed. So the wonderful explanation and the wonderful experiments they have conducted in E. coli made us to learn to understand how when the presence of lactose, the need is there, the genes are able to be transcribed and translated, and then producing the proteins. And once the lactose is over, then there is again this is the coming into the shape, the normal the shape which can bind to operator gene, and now this comes and the joins here and producing obstruction to RNA polymerase, and RNA polymerase can no more transcribe, can no more produce the mRNA, no more produce proteins. Hope this is understandable to you. This is clear to you. And the lac operon concept control on gene expression. All 3 are same, and this is a commonly occurring short notes or even an essay question as well. So the lactose operating on the E. coli, whenever there is glucose, which is the first choice, then the lactose will not be digested because the enzymes will not be produced. That means always they are under repression, breaking condition. All the genes are under repressed condition. When it is the inducer molecule comes, that is induced, the substrate itself is an inducer molecule here. Sometimes some other extra molecule may come, which may influence this particular metabolism. In such case, that molecules, there may be some hormone that may also act in this manner, but hormonal mechanism in a different way. So now this is lactose operon concept. Then, right. So right. Before going to that, completing this, now we need to learn few more facts. Now, first, to a mnemonic I would like to give to you is, this is I gene. This is also called as regulatory R area, R site, regulatory site. But the gene name is LAC-I gene. This is promoter site. This is operator site. I, P, O, Z, Y, A. I pose, yeah, is the mnemonic. I, P, O, Z. I pose, yeah, Y, A. So you can remember the order of the areas on the gene, large gene, and its complex. For lac operon concept, this is to remember that I, P, O, Z, Y, A areas. And these are structural areas. This is operator area. This is promoter area. And this is a regulatory repressor protein synthesizing protein synthesizing area, gene, subgene area. So this small mRNA is for repressor protein purpose. When they have gone into the metabolism of these bacteria, they have also observed other types of operons. LAC operon is the wonderful model for learning all the operon concepts. But other types of operons also they have come across, monad and others. They Loaf and Severo, they have also seen other operon concepts. And those operons are that is tryptophan operon. How many structural proteins are here? GYA, 3 proteins. But whereas in the tryptophan operon, there are 9 structural genes. 5 structural genes are there. 5 structural genes are there. There is another operon concept for galactose as well, with another 3. And then there is what is called as, these are all observed in the E. coli. And there is what is called as histidine operon concept. Histidine operon concept. This is mainly seen in another bacterium, Salmonella typhimurium. A bacteria produces typhi. There present this histidine operon concept. In all these operons, the main is that there will be a repressor protein synthesizing gene. There is a promoter area. There is an operator area. And these repressor molecules are obstructing the polymerases. Or occasionally, these inducers, for example, here, the lactose is useful as an inducer. Inducer means increasing the proteins. But the tryptophan in its in the concept, operon concept, it produces the obstruction, that is a repression. It acts as a repressor. That means when it is joined, it acts like a repressor. That is, when it is not there, it will be obstructing it. When it is there, it will be activating it. Exactly oppositely, it acts. Exactly oppositely, it acts. When the inducer is joining, the protein synthesis is increasing. When the repressor joins, the protein synthesis will be obstructed. The protein synthesis will not come. So, in the joining position, it is able to join the operator. In the adhesive or joining, the inducer joining the repressor, it will be released from the operator. When the repressor joins, the repressor will be joining to the operator and the polymerase will not be functioning. So exactly in the opposite direction it acts. Right. Then later on, various viruses. The viruses, they enter into the host cells. And the viruses are DNA containing viruses and RNA containing viruses. Especially our coronavirus is an RNA containing virus. So how can it go into a cell? How can it go into a cell? It can go into the cell by adhesion to the superficial proteins. Once it is adhered with the spike protein which is being present to the virus. The virus is having on the top of it a spike protein on the superficial surface having a spike protein, and a cell, a pneumocyte or a lung cell is having another protein, and this protein and that protein can adhere together. The spike protein of the virus and the superficial surface protein of the lung cell can adhere together. And then once it adhered, there is going to be a tunnel that is being formed into the cell. This RNA negotiates into the cell. And once it is negotiated into the cell, it tries to utilize what is called as its own machinery, reverse transcript machinery. It has the synthesizing part of, that is the enzyme part is there. But what is required for the synthesis? You need nucleotides. You need nucleotides. But nucleotides are not being present in this virus. So once it is entered into this cell, here present the nucleotides. And this reverse transcriptase enzyme of that RNA now utilizes these many nucleotides and tries to synthesize the DNA corresponding to it, the strand of DNA corresponding to it. That is, from the mRNA, a strand of DNA, that is the gene of DNA, is being produced. So one single strand is now there from the virus. Then what will happen? This single strand of DNA make uses of the cell armamentarium. The cell will be having DNA polymerase. The cell will be having DNA polymerase. And hence, what will happen? One strand is there, and exactly the complementary strand will be synthesized by the DNA polymerase of the cell. Make using of what? Nucleotides which are present in that cell. So this is a parasite. This RNA acting like a parasite to synthesize a complementary, or rather exactly the gene supposed to be, if it is in the DNA form. So these DNAs, these two double-stranded DNAs corresponding to the RNA of this virus, maybe corona or similar RNA viruses. So that is, and then what will happen? This virus will also be having the mechanism to cut the cell DNA at some places. And the synthesized double-stranded DNA, which is exactly corresponding the RNA of the virus, is introduced into the cell DNA. And now this cell DNA is able to produce many RNAs by transcription. That means what? The viruses are being produced from the parent, the cell DNA. So RNA is not directly getting multiplied. It is making use of the apparatus of the cell, and from there it is coming out. It is taking birth from the cell DNA. And once the RNA is occurring, the other proteins also will be synthesized from the cell, mainly from the cell. And all of them orient, and then a molecular assembly occurs, and this molecular assembly is going to be another virus. So that means the RNA cannot directly multiply and produce. The RNA synthesizes a strand of DNA with all the material taken from the cell. The DNA polymerase belongs to cell. Initially, the RNA reverse transcriptase is the virus property. And once it synthesized a single DNA copy, then the complementary DNA copy to synthesize is from the cell. And then the double strand DNA is incorporated into the cellular DNA. The cellular DNA is cut somewhere, and it is going and joining in the cellular DNA. And from there, the cell armamentarium will be continuously producing, without knowingly, the RNAs. Ultimately, they become the viruses. And then killing the cell, they will come out. and enter into few more cells. So this chain reaction goes on, and thousands and millions of the viruses comes out from the parent DNA, the cellular DNA, cellular apparatuses, cellular material, and hence this is all a parasitism. With this, we will stop this class, and then we will try to understand recombinant DNA technology in the next class. Thank you. Come on.